Hello, I'm Cliff Smith, and today I'm going to be comparing four 12-string electroacoustic guitars. So you're going to hear exactly the same thing played on each of the guitars. Firstly, the acoustic sound, which I'm recording with two Rode NT5 microphones. I've got a matched pair here. I'm recording it in stereo. Hopefully you'll get a nice representation of what they sound like acoustically. And they'll be in exactly the same position in relation to each guitar, or as close as I can get to that. And then you'll also hear exactly the same music but recorded via the pickup, or the guitars plug in via the strap button there. So you can hear just the pickup sound on its own as well, so you get an idea about what they all sound like. And again, we'll hear all those back to back, and then you can make up your own mind about what you think, and then I'll tell you what I think at the end. Okay, so let's have a listen. Okay, thanks very much for listening to all those examples. I guess you probably found your favourite by now, or at least you've narrowed it down a bit. So let me tell you what I thought about these guitars. So the first one I played was this one. It's the Auden. Acoustically, I thought it sounded great. I love the bass, strong bass, sparkling highs, lots of overtones. For me, this one sounded the best acoustically. The pickup sound was also, for me, the best sound. It's got the Brad Clark Supernatural system in it, and it's got bass, middle, treble, volume, and a selector switch, which selects between several preset EQs. Then you can fine tune that with the bass, middle, and treble. I left everything on in the middle there. I didn't boost or cut any frequencies on any of these guitars. I just left them all neutral, and I put all the volumes round about 3/4. The battery is inside the guitar here, and it comes with a tool that you use to remove it. It is a little bit tricky, but it works. It works. And you plug in here. They all plug in here. Design of this guitar, I think it's nice that there aren't loads of holes cut in it. There's no hole here. There's no trapdoor that you get on a lot of guitars. The Taylor has some holes here, very small ones, but it does have some holes here. And the Taylor also has a little hole here for the battery. This one doesn't have any extra holes in it apart from the sound hole, which I think probably adds something to the acoustic sound of it. Overall, this is my favourite guitar. Okay, so the second guitar I played was this one. It's this Taylor. So this one, again, I thought it was a great guitar as well. Really nice, very strong sound, slightly higher frequencies were prominent in this sound compared to the Auden. A bit of a brighter sounding instrument, a bit more punchy. It's got a spruce top, so you would expect that. Cedar's a little bit of a darker sound. The acoustic sound overall was nicely balanced. You could hear everything. The pickup sound for me was really weak on this guitar. I was surprised. I expected the Taylor to have a much better sound. It's got 3 controls here. We've got bass and treble and volume. I had the EQ in the middle. I had the bass on the volume on 3/4, as I did with all the guitars. It plugs in here. There's a battery. You can easily change the battery on this guitar, which is a great plus. I like that. Overall, it's a great guitar. I just didn't really like the plugged in sound. Okay, so the third guitar I played was this one. This is the Breedlove Solo. Acoustically, I thought this guitar sounded quite kind of neutral, whereas the Auden was quite a strong in the kind of bass, very warm sound. The Taylor was a very punchy, kind of sparkling sound. This one was kind of somewhere in between. It didn't really shine in any one particular frequency range, but it's very nicely balanced. Every string's got the same kind of volume, which is, it's a good thing. It's a different guitar, you know. For me, it didn't really excite me, but it all depends what you want from a guitar. When I plugged it in, I thought the pickup sound was pretty good. It wasn't quite as nice as the Auden, but it was definitely better than the Taylor. And there's 2 controls here. We've got a volume and a tone. The tone has got a little notch halfway, so you can feel when you get to the midpoint. The volume, you just have to listen and turn it up or down. And the battery is in here. It's in a little bag. So what you have to do to change the battery is take all the strings off, take the bag out, put the new battery in, put it back in, put the strings back on again. That's a lot of work. So if you're at a gig and you realise the battery's dead, you're in serious trouble. So you wouldn't want this as your only guitar. You definitely have to have a backup, and you need to have a friend that can do all that for you while you're playing the other guitar for a few songs. Okay, this also has a little hole here. If I pull this, there's a rubber plug in here. I'm just going to take it out. It's quite hard to get it out, actually. See how difficult it is to get it out. There we go. So there's another sound hole here. So the idea is when you play, the sound comes straight up into your ears as well, which is a nice feature, but for me, it's another hole in the guitar. I really don't like unnecessary holes in guitars. So there's a sound hole here. I don't think we need this as well. Okay, and the last guitar I played was this one, the Yamaha. And acoustically, I thought it sounded really nice. Nice balanced sound, very strong. You could really hear the bass. You could hear every note in the chord there. Nice sparkly sound. I thought the pickup sound on this one was quite weak. I mean, this is a passive pickup. So there's a pickup under the bridge here, we have the output and that's it. There is no battery in here. There is no preamp. So any kind of boost would need to be done outside. You could use some kind of pedal, or you could do everything on the PA system. So if you're somebody that's always kind of tweaking the controls, the volume and stuff on your guitar when you play, it's probably not the guitar for you. But if you're someone that likes to keep things very simple, then maybe this is. Acoustically, it sounds very nice. Design-wise, I think it's a beautiful guitar. Very classic look about it. I like all the gold plating here. It's really nicely finished. The strings don't cross at all, and the headstock, which is a nice feature. Okay, and the last thing I forgot to mention, which is very important when it comes to 12 strings, is playability. So the Auden, when I first received it, I would say was unplayable. It was just so hard to play. I thought I was going to really injure myself. I phoned Auden and they told me to drop it in, so I dropped it into them, and they discovered that the truss rod had been completely loosened, perhaps in the shop I bought it from. So they adjusted that for me, and now it's really nice to play. It's still a bit tough, but you know, it's a 12 string, so you do expect that. The Taylor has a very, very high action, like 4mm at the 12th fret, which if you know anything about guitar setups, that's really high. It's twice what it should be. So I was struggling when I was playing that one. But even with that said, it's still a really nice guitar. If I was going to keep that guitar, I would just get it set up either by the shop I bought it from or take it to a guitar tech. And I'm sure it would play really well. So I wouldn't let that put you off. That's just something specific to that guitar. It just needs an adjustment. There's nothing wrong with it. The Breedlove was overall quite nice to play, I would say, particularly for the detailed stuff, picking individual notes. Scales were definitely the easiest to play on the Breedlove. So overall, that was quite a nice guitar. It's quite nicely set up out the box. And then this Yamaha, for me, it's 1mm narrower at the fretboard and a few millimeters narrower at the other end of the fretboard here, compared to the other guitars. And the strings are just too close together for me. If you look down at the strings from the playing position, they look almost equidistant. It's very hard to find the string you want. When I was doing the fingerstyle playing on this, I was really struggling to find the strings. And for the left hand as well, it's very fiddly. Even on an E chord, it was very tricky not to touch the adjacent strings. It's not something I normally have a problem with. You know, I would like to think I can play an E chord, but on this guitar, it was really required a lot of concentration. So for that reason, I wouldn't choose this guitar for me. If you're someone who has very small hands and very thin fingers, you might find this is a nice guitar. It's the ideal solution to a 12 string for you. If you're someone who's got big hands and chunky fingers, stay away from this guitar. It's a really nice guitar, but for me, the playability doesn't suit me. It might suit you, but it doesn't suit me. So I'm going to keep the Auden guitar, and I'll be making a review of that. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please give it a like and please subscribe. Thank you.